I'd like to share a bit about the relationship between gratitude and joy. And to kind of start out, interesting to take a look at the thinking of Anthony Ray Hinton, who was imprisoned uh, unjustly for over 30 years and then freed. It was found out that the defense did not receive adequate information about certain aspects of the case, and certain people who were actually the more likely suspects were not investigated. So Hinton, spending all that time in prison, had an interesting thought. He said, some people who have never been to prison at all, never been near a prison, never involved in situations where prison would be a possibility, um, some of those people really are not happy. Some people also who have a lot of money are not happy. Hinton has been in prison, doesn't have much money. But he says, I am happy because I choose to be happy. He has made that a deliberate part of his life. He has chosen to be happy. Stendhal Rast, the Benedictine, talking about gratitude, says, grateful people are joyful people. So people who have gratitude for life, for things that have happened to them, they are happy people. Um, they tend not to be fearful about different situations because they have gratitude. They tend not to be violent because they're grateful for what they have been given and there's no need for them to be violent. And they are very willing to share. And in being willing to share, they are respectful of all people. So they are givers, they're willing to give to others, and they're very respectful of other people. And what other people feel, what other people think, they're very respectful of them and respect their traditions, learn from their traditions, and actually express gratitude because of the differences that they encounter between themselves and others. The Buddhist scripture, Tsongkhapa, also deals with this idea of gratitude and joy, and it says, teaches that the best way to create good karma with the least amount of effort is to rejoice in your good deeds and the good deeds of others. So if you want to create this good karma, this sense of good feeling, of gratitude, of joyfulness that leads to happiness, if you want to display that, express that in your life, and realizing that it doesn't actually require a lot of effort to do this because you just look at your own good deeds that you've done and rejoice in that, but also the good deeds of others so that you're not jealous of their good deeds, or you rejoice and say, well, that's wonderful, I'm so glad you're doing that, I'm so glad about your success, I'm so glad about your well-being, I'm so glad about what you have accomplished in your life. Professor Robert Emmons, with Michael McCullough and Joanne Sang, spent some time studying gratitude. And they found that grateful people do not ignore or deny the negative aspects of life. So they're not going around life with rose-colored glasses, everything is fine, everything is wonderful, everything is... No, they're not into that aspect at all of denial or not realizing the negative aspects that there are in life. They simply choose to appreciate what is positive as well. So they know that there is poverty, that there is war, that there is prejudice, that there's hunger, there's homelessness. They're aware of these realities that all of us face, the human sufferings. But They also are aware of the positive aspects of life, of the people that try to alleviate some of these problems, the people that work for good in our society. So they're aware of both, and they rejoice in the good while not ignoring the negative, because those people that are taking those steps to alleviate the negative by their good actions, by their positivity, they're trying to overcome the negative. And so to rejoice in that and to put your efforts in rejoicing in that is so important. They're the people that are more likely, the professors have found in studying gratitude, they're people that are more likely to have helped and supported others in need. So these are the people that express gratitude, the people that have joy and happiness in their life. They are the ones who are more likely to feed the hungry, to give shelter to the homeless, to try to work against war, to try to support efforts for peace. They are much more likely than others who dwell in the negativity but don't realize the positive actions that are necessary to overcome that negativity. Also, they have a greater life satisfaction. They are more pleased with life. They see the potential in life, the goodness in life. They see life as a gift, a precious gift. And they are much more likely to have made progress towards their personal goals. These are people that set goals for themselves and are more successful in achieving those goals. Interesting way to kind of look at it too is in the physical sense. Some of these values can seem very spiritual and abstract, but take something as simple as smiling. Smiling stimulates the release of neuropeptides. And these neuropeptides stimulate the neurotransmitter serotonin, also dopamine, and endorphins. Serotonin acts as a natural antidepressant. So here, by smiling, what are you doing? You're releasing these very natural antidepressants, these chemicals in your body that fight against depression, just from the simple act of smiling. Dopamine stimulates the reward centers of the brain. So there you are, you're encouraging more dopamine to be released. And so that those reward centers of the brain, which are the paybacks for us, right? These are being released by the dopamine. And the endorphins, what are they? They are natural painkillers. So people who are smiling are actually, in a way, taking painkillers. By releasing the endorphins, they are less likely to experience pain. So these simple acts, these simple physical acts that express our joy and our gratitude and lead to happiness, like smiling, have effects not only on other people who see us smiling and they want to find out, well, why are you smiling? What are you so happy about? What's going on? They have the effect on other people, but also very much the effect on ourselves and on our own bodies. The Buddha mentions this in his teachings. It says, what is the one thing which, when you possess, you have all other virtues? A great question from the Buddha, right? It's one thing. And if you possess this one thing, actually, it contains all of the other virtues within it. And the Buddha answers and says that one thing is compassion. Because if you're a person of compassion, all of those other virtues are going to come into action. All those other virtues are going to be enacted simply by being a compassionate person, a person who cares about other people, wants to help other people, lift other people up, and end the misery and suffering that those people are experiencing.